Ann Devane. Jennifer Flores.
Present.
Beth McKett.
You're muted, Beth.
She is here.
Yeah.
Here. Where was I? Thank you. Curtis Tidmore.
Here.
And John Young.
Here. Okay, we have in our packet a copy of the minutes for January 20th, 2021. Does anyone have any changes or additions that they'd like to submit?
No.
If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Motion to approve minutes as presented.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. And I don't think there's any discussion. All those in favor, raise your hand, say aye.
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 Oh, sorry, John, you just have to say aye.
I did. I saw the cattail.
Any nays? Okay, I wanted to welcome, we have a new liaison from the City Council. And tell me if I mangle your name. Is it Job?
Yes.
It's Councilor Job. She's our new liaison replacing Tom. And she's already proved to be very helpful to the commission, which we'll get into later on.
Good, welcome.
Thank you.
Do we have any visitors or public comments? Okay. Fred, let's go directly to staff reports.
Nothing for me for staff reports there. I will just say one thing. I have talked to you about the Independence Transportation System Plan and that update. There is a set of preferred alternatives out there. So if you folks would like to visit www.independencetsp.com, there is an online open house where you can sort of click through and share your thoughts about various ideas. So I would recommend that you do that. I guess that's about it for that. Any questions about that?
That was Independence, T like Tom, S like Sam, P like Paul.com.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
I have a question, Fred.
Yeah.
This summer I was going by on 7th Street and that goes across Ash Creek, and there was a core machine there. They were taking cores of both sides of the existing, I guess you call it bridge or street that goes over Ash Creek to replace that. Is there a timeline on when that's going to happen?
You know, the
transportation plan too.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So the city is in the process of replacing the F Street Bridge. The city got a grant for that from the state to replace that bridge. So that is going through bridge design right now. We have a firm that's doing that for us. So yeah, they took cores and everything like that. They're going to replace that bridge. It's going to be wider. I think right now it's narrow, but it's going to be, I think, something like 36 feet curb to curb, sort of your standard width for a road. So that is in the works. Bridge design is anticipated to be done by the summer, and then actual bids to go out for that project is anticipated sometime after that. So I mean, that is gonna be in the relatively near future in terms of transportation projects.
I have another question about that. On the corner of 8th and F, over on the, I think you would call it the east the northeast corner, there's a derelict building that's there. Is, I just go by there a lot, and I just wondered, is that like any kind of a historic thing that's there?
I know exactly what building you're talking about. I haven't ever asked anybody about that building or what we know about that building.
Okay.
I think it is attached. I think I did look at it at one point. I mean, I could do it real quick too. I think it's attached to a lot right next to it. So it's sort of, or there's a structure, and then the derelict building is on the same lot. So, and yeah, that appears to be the case.
Okay, I was just wondering. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
I don't believe so. No, I mean, if you could help out with the Independence TSP, I would sure appreciate it.
Okay,
You were gonna talk to us about the building next door to the Elks building as well. You were gonna get a report for us on that. Anything, any updates?
Oh yeah. So that is that they apparently have the front of that framed. And the city has looked into the right-of-way permit that he has for that project, and we have informed him that, you know, we expect this to be moving along a little, you know, as quick as we can. He's waiting for glazing for the front windows for that building. So, and then from what I understand, it's largely complete other than the glazing for this store.
But you haven't seen any of it.
I haven't seen any of it. No.
could you bring the commission up to speed on what we know about 555 Monmouth?
555 Monmouth. That is funny.
Which, if you recall, about a year ago, I was saying I have
Yeah,
a
no, hey, Curtis, it was great call on that about a year ago, because we did give him a letter about a year ago.
Well, bring everybody up to date, because I don't, other than our liaison, you and me, I don't think anyone else knows anything.
Yeah, so you'll remember a year or more ago, folks on the commission, including you, Curtis, identified that 555 Monmouth was being sold for a very low price. And so based on that, you folks had the idea that somebody might come in and do some remodels on it based on how low the price was. And so after that, once that got sold, I just typed up a real simple letter, delivered it to the house, put it in the front door. I think I ended up, I can't remember, you know, we talked to so many people, but I'm pretty certain I ended up talking to somebody from the house after that, sort of to follow up about the letter. So anyways, told them any changes to the exterior of the building requires Historic Preservation Commission approval. So this weekend, apparently, Curtis noticed that some work was occurring on the outside of the building. Some new siding was being put in.
We also added a new window too. I don't know if you noticed that on the west side.
On the left side?
The west side.
Okay. I didn't notice that. So Curtis stopped and told them that they needed to go through Historic Preservation Commission approval, and then tried to contact me. I didn't get the message, but then ended up contacting Tom, who contacted me, and the city put a stop work order on the house. And so I talked to the owner of that property a few times at this point, and they're going to prepare something for the next Historic Preservation Commission meeting to go through Historic Preservation Commission approval. Now, one of the things about it is, I mean, I won't go much beyond that. Because the next meeting, it will be a quasi judicial hearing. I mean, you guys will be acting on it. So, I mean, the information about it will be, I'll keep it for that meeting.
Okay. With the condition of the house, you know that covering up the wood siding, what that would do to its status, right?
I
You don't
mean,
have
we're
to
not gonna talk about
we're
this
not gonna
outside of
debate it.
we're not gonna talk
Yeah.
about this outside of a quasi
Right,
judicial hearing. Yeah.
right. But you know what the status would be. Yes, okay.
Right. I mean,
I'm not asking you to tell me what that status would be. I just want to make sure you're aware.
right. I mean, yep, I will not comment beyond that.
Perfect. So I'm sure you'll be giving him guidance on his application.
Yep, exactly. And yep, that's exactly right.
That was what I was talking about, our new liaison. I didn't contact Tom. Counselor Job did, and facilitated all that happening so that we could get that stop work order done, which I gotta give kudos for the city manager for acting promptly on that. Okay. Does anyone have any problem with changing the order of number 7 and 8? And we can discuss 8 right now.
Go ahead.
Okay. Did you get that email I sent, Fred?
I did. Yep. Let me.
Is there a way to split the screen? And this is we were talking about the preservation award. And I did talk with Michael Cairns, and he was he humbly accepted the honor of his name being included in the award. And I looked at going 2 different options. One, doing a nice indoor plaque that someone could hang on the wall. You want to pull up those? I pulled up 3 options, different price range. And we could put this is a wood one you're looking at, and they get etched in, say the city logo, the name of the award, the year, and the person, whatnot, whatever we decided. That's one option. It's about for a 9x12, about a $40 option.
No.
You want to pull up the second one? And that one is the second one, I think, and that's a $60 option. And then the third one was something totally different, like a desktop, like a little more modern design. And that was in the $70 range. Then I thought, as a separate option entirely, doing basically a very nice letter on cardstock, well, an award on cardstock, which would be minimal expense, and then buying a plaque, an address plaque that you can customize. You can you basically put the street name below, the house number in the center, and then above we could either put, like, say for a house was built in 1905, you could put circa 1905, or you could put the name of the house, like the Henry Hill house or something like that, so that they have something a little bit more, like functional. I don't know. I wasn't married to any one particular option. I think they're all decent options, and I wanted to get, feedback from all of you.
I like that one, the 4th
I
option.
like that one, but what if we put the name of the award instead of the person?
There's not enough characters available. On that one, you can put, was it the top and bottom hold 14 characters, and then the address holds up to 5 characters.
Okay.
Putting up,
I
Yeah.
like that one, because it would be outside, so other people would know.
Well,
Yeah,
and then if we gave them a certificate, a really, we can print something up on very nice card stock that looks very nice.
Mhm.
And then they can frame that and put it inside if they want. But then this is something that, I mean, it's kind of nice. It's, what's the size on it? It's 10 by 14.
And I feel like if it's a public like award, then we should be like kind of putting it in public that, like, ooh, this is nice. And,
Yeah,
it becomes one of those things where like when I
Right.
worked at Disneyland, we knew that the folks with the blue name badges got, they were recognized by the company, in honor of their service and longevity and things that they done for the company. We knew that it was because they had that special name badge, right? So this is kind of like that too, where the houses or the businesses or whatever that got this award would start to be recognized as the ones who received this honor.
Right. Then the other thing I was thinking, and this is aside from the actual award style, we were talking about multiple awards. I was thinking maybe a major renovation project and then like a minor renovation project as maybe being two categories.
that's a good idea, but going back to this, I like this look because it has more of a historic look to it.
Yeah.
And being outside makes it even better because people then will know. Do we really have to put the address on it? Because if it's outside, there should already be an address on the house.
My
Well-
plaque is stinky. Like, I don't have a great address. I'd much prefer one of those on my house.
I'd take my numbers off and use this if I had it. It's a lot nicer than what I have. I mean, I have brass numbers, but this is much nicer.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody would begrudge, taking that. I think most people would be happy to take down the current numbers they have for something like this.
How about if we put like HPC award on the top?
We could do that.
Yeah, because that way it would tell people,
it
what it
is.
is. This just looks like an address.
A thing for somebody's house.
By putting the circa date, that's another, it's informative to the public how old the house is, which is kind of nice. That's why I thought putting circa, whatever the date is of the house.
Now that I like.
Mhm. I do too.
Yeah.
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 Except that.
What was this? What is this one down here on the bottom left? It looks like a
There's
little
plaques.
design. Yeah.
It's
I had looked through them and they were either starting to get a little pricey or they just didn't have I brought you the one, you all could look at this company if you want and dig through it. I just brought what I thought was the best value and most, how should I say, flexible for our needs.
Have you ever used this company before?
No, but I've seen those signs. I could search to make sure they're the cheapest one. I just was pulling up quickly.
I don't think the cheapest necessarily is, the right way.
Right. I don't think that they've got 52 reviews and they all seem to be good. I could go to Amazon if you're worried about getting more detailed reviews from accurate, verifying purchases. But I think that
if we get the first one and it turns out to be garbage, then we can move on and find a different one.
Yeah, I just like to make
Yeah.
sure that it looks, that it really looks good and holds up to the weather and yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know which direction you all want to do. If you want to do the major award, do one of these, and then for the minor award, maybe do one of the other options that I was talking about.
Go completely different than what's.
You could.
Well,
it just.
I don't know why we should go different.
I like this one.
Oh, I do
Okay.
too. For the for the big award, I think, this is great, but in order to make it look a little bit different, then that's, no, Beth.
Sorry, my cat is driving me crazy.
Well, if we
Okay.
actually, if we go for the circa, we don't necessarily, okay.
So can
What
I,
are we gonna do for the next?
Go ahead, Fred.
oh, I'm sorry. No, Ann was going.
So what are we gonna do next year for this? Are we gonna solicit people to say that, look at my house for the award? Or, I mean, going forward, the reason I'm saying that is that going forward, then, do people have primary renovations and secondary? And we haven't ever talked about that stuff.
We're generally aware of all the renovations that are being done on historic properties. I mean, someone on the commission always, either they get a certificate of appropriateness to make a change, or we just start talking about it. I don't think there's gonna be a problem like us identifying the properties.
No, I was thinking about people that know what they might get. I'm, as an
Well,
award.
of course, we should do like, get the newspaper and put it in the city letter that goes out with the water bill and the MyNet newsletter and things like that. And we can say it's going to be a yearly award.
So I'm just gonna throw out an option out there. And this is, and you guys don't have to take this, but I sort of thought about this, and really what I'm sort of struggling with is just the character limitation on this one, like having only 14 characters. Like we couldn't name the award if it was, if we wanted to put such and such award, we can't name it based on
the cardstock that goes with the plaque. Like
right.
The plaque is the prize and the cardstock is the award.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, so
I
that's
see.
so okay, so the idea that I came up with, and you don't have to take this, I'm just throwing it out there as an option, is the tattoo guy in downtown, he paints wood signs. So like the silk tie sign is a hand painted sign, right?
Wow.
And so my thought was, wow, wouldn't it be cool if we reached out to that guy and had him paint on a wooden sign or something, the award, what it was for. He could change the size of the font based on whatever. It's not a typical award, but it would be kind of unique.
It would be personalized and it would come from within the city. And I think as long as he can keep it comparable in price and not charge us out the wazoo, then sure. We can.
The only thing is what happens if he in 2 years' time, he's no longer in town.
Then we find another option in 2 years.
Yeah, I agree with Jennifer. I think she pretty much summed it up perfectly.
So he needs to be willing to be comparable price.
I agree.
So,
And before we get too far, can I just say one thing too?
Mhm.
When you're talking about the what you're going to put on the plaque that is on the street, please be aware that there are certain design requirements and size standards for the address numbers. So
Wow.
Yeah, because they have
yeah.
to be able to be seen from the street.
so that way police and fire can. find
Okay,
out.
so do you happen to know offhand if 3-inch is large enough?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'd have to check that. It may be that the 3 inches is not sufficient. But I think Fred hit on maybe a good option. And does someone have any contacts with that gentleman?
I thought Karen would.
Anybody have a tattoo?
I have lots. Karen, I think Karen knows him.
Karen, could you ask him about that and see if he could come up with a good option and and maybe bring it to us next meeting.
It's a good idea.
And hopefully we can make some decisions next meeting.
And Fred, you're still sharing your screen in case you care.
Yeah, I don't care, but I'll stop it now.
And
Okay.
then if,
So,
then you could go ahead and go through city council then, just to the person who gets these awards.
I don't follow your question.
In other words, present it at city council meeting.
Well, everything is city council meetings are like this. I think that it would have to be like,
At one of our meetings.
well, at one of our meetings, I guess I could come down to present the award and we could get a Fred to take a picture.
Yeah, and then for publicity.
Right. Like I said, we'll hit the paper, the MyNet newsletter, the city flyer, and anything else we can think of. For this next part, I am going to virtually step out of the meeting, and Jennifer, you can take over. Give me just a moment.
Okay. So, subject of hearing announced. The public hearing before the Independence Historic Preservation Commission is now open for application CA-2021-01. Addition to historic single-family home, Curtis Tidmore applicant. Do any commissioners need to disclose any conflicts of interest, bias, ex parte contacts, or site visits?
I did drive by and look at it from the alley, from the neighbor's side, from the street.
I looked by, I mean, I drove past it too, because I don't know whose houses are whose. I didn't know it was Kurt's until I got this packet in the mail.
Well, I went to one of his parties and he had it in the backyard. And this add-on, there's plenty of room for it. I mean, it's,
So then, Karen, is that all the, like, that's what you needed to know as far as ex parte contacts and all that stuff?
Yes, and I just needed to know if anybody had made any site visits, which you all just disclosed, at least during the drive-bys. And then if anybody has visited with Curtis about this application.
no.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. So then, do I read all this stuff or does Fred?
Nope, I can read it.
Good,
So,
Fred.
the applicable substantive criteria upon which the case will be decided are found in the Independence Development Code, subchapters 11, Administrative Provisions, and subchapter 59, Historic Preservation. These criteria are addressed in the staff report and will be read and summarized by staff during the presentation of the staff report. All testimony, arguments, and evidence presented must be directed toward these criteria or other criteria in the Independence Development Code, which the speaker believes to apply to the decision. The failure of anyone to raise an issue accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford this commission and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue will preclude an appeal to the City Council and the Oregon Land Use Board of Appeals, LUBA, based on that issue. An issue which may be the basis for an appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals shall be raised not later than the close of the record at or following the final evidentiary hearing on the proposal before the city. Such issues shall be raised and accompanied by statements or evidence sufficient to afford the commission and the parties an adequate opportunity to respond to each issue. The failure of the applicant to raise constitutional or other issues relating to proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the city to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in circuit court. That's it. Perfect. So I'll go ahead and read the staff report for it. Luckily, I won't read it. I'm just kidding.
I was gonna say.
So the thing is, we do have a proposal for, let me share my screen. Let's get some of these so we can see what we're talking about one more time. Come on, get over there. What is, oh. Hello. Here we go. So we have a proposal before us to add on to the historic building at 41 South 3rd Street. I'll show you a picture of, here it is on Google Earth. So you can see here is 41 South 3rd Street. I apologize for the trees being in the way of that picture there, but you can see that this historic building is it's a nice historic building. It's been added on to a number over the years. It was originally the main portion, which you can see is sort of defined by this gable right here. The main portion was constructed in about 1880, and then gradually the building has sort of expanded little by little, including things like the double gabled front porch, this northern addition here, and then there's an addition on the southern side too. One of the most recent additions was this garage right here on the north side. The proposed addition is going to occur behind this proposed garage. And the only change that you're going to see from the front of the building is the additional height, or 5 feet additional height right here over the garage. The reason for that is they're going up higher with the gable, and then they're going to do a sort of side gable coming off the taller gable going toward the back. So basically all of the changes that you're going to see from this elevation, like I say, the only change that you're going to see is the additional height right here from the side elevation, which let me, the side elevation, the north side elevation, the only change is going to be a longer garage right here. There's not going to be any sort of windows on this north side. This is the neighbor's house. From the south west elevation, what is going to happen is this wall will get pulled out to enclose this door right here, come down like this. This gable is going to come just a hair more this way to create, and this will go up and then back toward this greenhouse here, if you can see my cursor sort of out here. That's the change to the south elevation, and then the east elevation is going to be a gable end, and that is in the packet. Let me show you. It's going to appear like this as shown in the gable end. A lot of there's a fence about, I don't know, maybe 6 feet tall in the backyard. So a lot of this isn't going to be visible from neighboring properties. Materials are generally going to be consistent with the structure. He's planning on including wooden doors, wooden windows. He's going to make sure that the reveal of the siding matches the original, or where did I put that? Where did I put that? On the north elevation, siding for the wall would match the wood profile for the garage and the front of the home. So that's in essence what's getting proposed here. You will note that I went through all of the various criteria that we need to evaluate these things based on. I'll just note a couple of them. One of them is the proposed addition or alteration is compatible with historic characteristics in the area, based on how this is really targeting the most recent part of the structure and really is only changing a minimal amount of the front of the building. It's also not like stealing emphasis from the main historic portion of the building. Because of all of that sort of stuff, I would argue that this is absolutely compatible with the historic characteristics of the area. It's like I say, it's not going to detract, it's not going to remove material, stuff like that. Also, adding the height in the area is a good way to add the height, because the garage is actually set back quite a bit from the front of the building. So the additional height won't like I say, steal from the main part of the building. It won't like start emphasizing itself more than the main part of the building, because it is set back so far at this point.
Did we have any feedback from any of the neighbors?
No, we did not receive any feedback from the neighbors. It is a good question. We did send out notice to neighboring properties within 250 feet of the project. We did not receive any responses for that. So yeah, I guess I'll just sort of leave it there. Really, it feels like it's a sensitive way to add onto this to this structure. So
I have a couple questions myself. One, because we have Commissioner Young and we know how he feels about trees. It appears in the back of the property, and I don't know because all I did was drive past the front of it, that there's a tree back there. Is it historic? Is it going to be a problem? Is he going to have to cut it down?
No.
Is he gonna have to trim it? Okay.
Yeah, but it's not a significant tree, really.
Okay. That's fine. I just know, you and I have things about trees, so I was just going to ask that question.
Yeah, right. Right.
And then it appeared on the north elevation. Is he going to go right up to the property line? Like, are there no requirements for setbacks?
Is going to continue the setback that's there right now, and he's just going to extend it back
To the rear of the property.
to the rear of the property. I actually didn't measure what that setback is, but because generally I think that because that setback is right there, and I tend to think that that's an appropriate way to add on to the building.
That's fine. I thought you said he was going to move it out to the fence line, like he was going to extend it that way. So I was.
Oh no, back, not to the side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any other questions, concerns, comments?
No, I think it's an appropriate addition. I like it.
So would someone like to make a motion?
I will move that we approve the addition.
We
I'll
have a
second.
Okay. So what?
Can I suggest the motion to read to approve the historic appropriateness application?
Yes.
File number CA 2021-01,
Yes.
adopting findings, conditions, and staff recommendations as provided in the staff report.
Yes. Karen's suggestion. That's what I just said. We're going to pretend like I said it. So
Uh-huh.
And I'll still second.
okay, good. So all in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Unless you're John, just say aye.
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 I
Any opposed? Motion
And I'm-
carries.
And I'm sorry, I didn't see who seconded.
Beth,
Aye.
Thank you.
All right.
You can come back, it can come back live.
Congratulations, Curtis.
Yeah.
if you're gonna put that little greenhouse out on the curb, though, I want you to call me first. It's,
Actually, I already checked. I can lift it up, so I got to get a dolly out there, move it to the back. But I am going to be building a much larger greenhouse, and when that happens, I'll let you know if we decide to dispose of it.
that one's so cute.
That was there when we got here, and I heard you. By the way, I heard your comment about the trees. there are two large trees that have to come down. One's an awful tree and one, the roots are going into the sewer line and have to come down anyhow.
Oh, our roots are all in the sewer lines. Didn't matter. I still had to put an application.
Yeah, and you know how
Yeah,
I felt
but this-
about that.
Poor
I think we all
John.
learned from that incident.
Yeah,
We learned don't
right.
putz around on an application when somebody's asking to take a tree down.
I'm with you, John.
Well, some
These are
trees matter
people.
more than others.
Yeah.
These are people.
Well, I'll make sure I provide photos as it, the process. It's when you start to do something like this, it's funny. We have applications come in front of us all the time, and until we do it ourselves, you kind of forget what's involved. And it kind of gave me a little more insight to what applicants are going through. And I mean, the whole process from getting with an architect, going to you guys, and then going forward. And it's not only exciting, it's very scary at the same time. So
Yeah, you're spending thousands of dollars.
yeah, it's like I said, that
It looks kind of straightforward though, compared to a lot of them. The tie-in on the roof is probably the more complicated part of the whole thing, right?
yes. That's the kind of, they have to do like a little, I forgot what it's called, a cricket between the garage and the back of the main structure.
Yeah.
I'll take pictures of that, as it's going, because it's kind of, it was a big, long discussion, but I tried to have as little impact on the property as possible.
Look forward to seeing it.
Did anybody have anything else that they wanted to talk about?
Commissioner Tidmore, I just want to let you know that I did go and look, and the standards for address numbers are no less than 4 inches.
So that will not work.
Mm.
I'm glad you thought of that, Karen.
Yeah.
Thank you. So maybe we'll have some good options from the tattoo guy. Okay, it sounds like we're all finished for the meeting. I'll see you guys next month. Meeting's adjourned.
Cool.
All right.
Take care, guys.